Gaslighting Deep Dive. The phrase gaslighting, which is one of the major manipulative tactics used by toxic people who display narcissistic traits, will be covered in detail in today's video. Do you frequently question your actions or feel compelled to apologize for something you don't even remember doing or saying? Are you struggling to comprehend why you always feel worried even despite having presentable qualities and plenty of achievements in your life? Do you often feel guilty or ashamed after expressing your emotions or standing up for yourself even in the most basic scenarios? If you are familiar with all these emotions, please watch our video to discover more on the subject to gain insight, since you might be a victim of gaslighting. How does gaslighting work? The phrase gaslighting apparently got quite predominant in our language in recent years. The expression refers to a certain type of emotional manipulation basically dedicated to make the sufferer question his own sanity. Although the metaphor has recently gained popularity, it originated from Patrick Hamilton's 1938 play Gaslight. In the play, a man manipulates his devoted wife into making her believe that she is hallucinating by hiding or relocating several items around the house and acting clueless when his wife tells him about her concern, after she notices that the gas lights inside her room have been vanishing one by one. Without having any idea that her husband was deliberately planning to check her into a mental institution in order to be able to collect her inheritance just to expand his own fortune. She eventually starts to doubt her own mental stability and end up losing her connection to reality as her husband continually ignored and ridiculed her story. People would start using the term gaslighting to describe similar circumstances or mental processes in their everyday lives easily with the help of the play's story. Therefore, the widely used phrase gaslighting actually refers to a covert and subtle form of emotional harassment in which the abuser or bully frustrates the victim by fabricating a narrative and causing them doubt their perceptions of reality. And according to the psychologists, this pattern is repeated until the gaslighted individual experiences self-doubt, confusion, and eventually aligns with the gaslighter. It is a gradual brainwashing procedure that utilizes repeating and deceptive phrases and very subtle gaslighting techniques. To secure the victim's trust, the cycle begins with a brief time of intense love bombing. Although it is known for occurring mainly in romantic relationships, gaslighting is an unrecognized and underestimated type of abuse in today's many friends and family relations. How gaslighting happens. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline official document, a gaslighter may employ the following strategies to manipulate someone. 1. Withholding. He or she either won't listen to his victim or pretends as if they don't understand anything at all. 2. Countering. When the abuser disputes or denies the victim's memory of an incident. 3. Blocking and diverting. When the abuser keeps changing a particular subject during a discussion or questions the victim's reasoning. 4. Trivializing. When the perpetrator minimizes the victim's requirements or feelings. 5. Forgetting and denial. When the manipulator pretends to have forgotten what actually happened or denies something he or she had previously agreed to. How to detect a gaslighter. Gaslighters constantly enforce their opinions on their victims since they feel the urge to be in control and to be right all the time. Until recognizing yourself dwelling in a never-ending condition of dissonance and self-doubt, you may never realize there really is a major problem in your life that needs attention. But in case you decide to speak out or express your concerns about the huge elephant in the room, the gaslighter will convince you that you have serious mental issues, which in fact they already do. They almost always come up with a story to take full credit for other people's achievements, therefore their talent is typically not limited by their ability to drive sane people insane. Yet, there are situations when gaslighters may feel compelled to express remorse. In these cases, they would usually employ a sly praise or apology, such as, "You look almost as lovely as you did when I first met you," or "I'm sorry you feel that way," to lure their victim back into the trap. People are manipulated mainly through the use of gaslighting based on their race, gender identity, age, mental problems, or sensitivity to physical or emotional harm. Gaslighting has been referred to as a sort of emotional terrorism, whether it is employed to maintain control in a close relationship or during the torture of political prisoners. Gaslighting may also occur when a parent constantly exploits one child as a scapegoat, or attempts to turn their child against the other parent or other siblings. Another common example of gaslighting is when politicians throughout the world manipulate public opinion by declaring that something is factual when all the data clearly suggests the opposite. There could be a gaslighter in your family, circle of friends, or workplace. If you ever want to discover him, look for the one who recently convinced the owner of the company to dismiss a teammate while appearing very considerate and innocent. Here are some phrases that might help you to spot a gaslighter. Gaslighting phrases. Quit being so vulnerable. That never took place. You need to seek therapy since your thinking appears to be impaired. Why are you incapable of humor? Why do you constantly seem so enraged? Why are you unable to go over the past? Stop making such a big deal out of it. I don't believe that's how you feel. Stop being so agitated. You should not feel that way. Everything is inside your head. Why do people gaslight? The objective is always to break down boundaries, destroy emotions, give an impression of innocence, and create disruption and disorientation in the psyche of the gaslightee. Gaslighting is not a rare or isolated phenomenon. It's a cunning, repeating behavior that impairs your identity and self-worth while making you suspect yourself and those around you. This mindset is based solely on two aspects: whether it is an intentional attempt to gain control over another person, or that it evolved as a child as yet another inevitable result of growing up with guilt-tripping parents. Children pick up this false belief from their parents that people act in absolutes and are either all good or all evil with no grey areas. While the scapegoat is held responsible for practically everything, the golden child has it all right. People who suffer from certain mental health issues such as narcissistic and antisocial personality disorders are more likely to be gaslighted, since these conditions alter their perceptions of both themselves and others, and they become perfect enablers. This also motivates people to manipulate others for their own personal gain by any means necessary, liberating themselves from responsibility of their wrongdoings by accusing others. The mental health of the victim of prolonged gaslighting may well be severely damaged, causing him or her to believe that they are worthy of the abuse. The effects of gaslighting may linger in the victim's life for years after the abuser has vanished, which may lead to a lifetime of self-doubt and poor decision-making. How to identify that you are being gaslighted? Gaslighting usually occurs in stages, and at first the abusive partner's actions appear rational to the victim. According to the National Domestic Violence Hotline, as a result of the victim's continuing abuses, confusion, pain, isolation, and fear, they may progressively develop a lack of sense of what's really occurring. Therefore, it's crucial to recognize the warning signs of gaslighting. Here are some examples of the main signs of being a victim of gaslighting. With remarks like "I'm not the only one who thinks you're crazy," gaslighters can find advocates in any setting. These claims are mostly fabricated stories or misleading statements which always benefit the gaslighter. You simply start not to trust people and request their help if you begin to believe everybody is conspiring against you as a result of ongoing manipulations. Causing you to distance from loved ones, eventually the gaslighter will have much more control over you. And inevitably you'll end up suffering from persistent anxiety and emotional dissonance brought on by ongoing mental torture. Your sense of self-confidence gradually deteriorates as a result of the inescapable verbal abuse, which also slowly but surely eats away at your rationality. If you have mental health issues that reduce your tolerance, causing self-esteem or despair, you may be more vulnerable to gaslighting or even be a continuing victim of one. Signs of being a victim of gaslighting. You continually question your actions. You always wonder whether or not you are overly sensitive. There are times when you feel confused and perhaps on the verge of losing your mind. You recurrently apologize for almost all of your actions to your abusive partner, your parents, or your friends. Despite having many evidently nice things and achievements in your life, you are unable to comprehend why you always feel sad. You frequently defend your abusive partner's actions in front of your friends and family. In order to avoid having to find excuses for your partner's misbehavior, you hide information from your loved ones. You can never fully describe what is genuinely wrong in your life. You start telling lies to keep your partner from the insults and distort reality. You have a hard time deciding even on basic matters. You come to realize that you were a very different person before, more self-assured, more laid back and pleasant. You believe that nothing you try will be efficient. You doubt your ability to be a well enough partner. How can a gaslighted victim get assistance? A skilled therapist will never gaslight you and will always support your reality and will always be objective. Seeking treatment is the best option for the victim that suffers from gaslighting. The pattern of gaslighting might be interrupted also by having dependable friends or family members who likewise affirm your reality. In the gaslighting cycle, just one validator of your reality can make a significant difference in a positive way for your mental health. To prevent gaslighting, keep a record of every incident, whether it be in a notebook, voice memo, photograph, email to yourself, or telling a trusted friend or family member. This is not just for your personal mental health, but can also be beneficial should the abuser need to face legal action. Whether you're still in the relationship or have recently left it, it's important to focus on self-care by doing what's best for you and what brings you comfort and heals your mind. This would help processing what's happened or is still happening and recognizing that your abusive partner is manipulating the situation by shifting the blame on you. Abusive partners shape the narrative the way they want it. They want you to think that you caused it, but you didn't. Trust your instincts again, allowing yourself to believe your own thoughts, feelings, intuitions, and decisions, which have long come into question due to the gaslighting. Many thanks for watching our video. Please remember to subscribe to our channel and enable notifications by hitting the bell icon.